John Wicked was a ghost, not in the literal sense, but in the way he moved through life, unseen and unnoticed. He was a shadow of his former self, a man who had once been a force to be reckoned with, now reduced to a mere whisper in the wind. A phantom limb of his former self, living a life he never asked for. The mirror reflected not just his face, but the shattered pieces of his soul, each crack a testament to the battles he had fought and the lives he had taken. He had traded the brutal ballet of assassination for the quiet solace of a Berlin homeless shelter. The rain-soaked streets mirrored his inner turmoil, each drop a reminder of the blood he had spilled. His past was a blood-soaked tapestry woven with the threads of 1,000 sins. Each thread told a story of betrayal, of lives cut short, of promises broken. It was a tapestry he could never escape, no matter how far he ran. Now he sought redemption in anonymity, finding solace in the company of society's forgotten souls. Among them he was just another face, another story of hardship and loss. But even in this anonymity, he could not escape the shadows of his past. He carried the weight of his past in the lines etched on his face, in the haunted look in his eyes. Each line was a scar, a reminder of the lives he had taken and the pain he had caused. His eyes, once full of life, now held only the ghosts of his past. His grandmother, a Romany mystic, had whispered of a darkness that clung to their lineage. She had seen it in the cards, in the stars, in the very fabric of their existence. A darkness that could not be escaped, only confronted, a legacy of power and pain. It was a burden he had carried since birth, a curse that had shaped his destiny. The burning object in his hand was a symbol of this legacy, a reminder of the power he held and the pain it caused. He could feel it in his blood, a simmering energy that heightened his senses and lent him an almost preternatural awareness. His blood pulsed with the power of his ancestors, a power that both terrified and exhilarated him. He could see the telltale ticks of a liar, hear the faintest whisper in a crowded room, smell the metallic tang of fear. His senses were his greatest weapon, honed to perfection through years of training and experience. His strength was the stuff of legend, his speed a blur to the untrained eye. He moved with a grace and power that belied his haunted past, a testament to the training that had shaped him into a living weapon. But the most unnerving gift was the sight. It was a gift and a curse, a window into the future that showed him things he could not change, no matter how hard he tried. Flashes of the future, fragmented and chilling, haunted his waking moments. Each vision was a puzzle piece, a fragment of a larger picture that he could never fully understand. Visions of blood and betrayal, whispers of a reckoning to come. They were a constant reminder of the darkness that awaited him, a darkness he could not escape. For years he had suppressed these abilities, burying them beneath the weight of his guilt and remorse. But no matter how deep he buried them, they always found a way to resurface, a constant reminder of the man he used to be. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The letter was a harbinger of things to come, a reminder that the past could never truly be escaped. A letter arrived, its paper crisp and expensive, and the ink a stark black against the white. It was a stark contrast to the life he now led, a reminder of the world he had left behind. The words were few, but they carried the weight of a death knell. Each word was a dagger to his heart, a reminder of the life he had tried so hard to leave behind. His family, the only family he had left, was gone, murdered. The portrait was a stark reminder of the life he had lost, the faces crossed out, a testament to the brutality of his past. The name that haunted his dreams, the name he had sworn to bury, rose from the ashes of his grief. The Puka. The Puka. It was a name that struck fear into the hearts of even the most hardened killers, a name that was synonymous with death and destruction, a whisper in the dark, a chilling legend among the underworld's elite. The Puka was more than just a name. It was a force of nature, a shadow that moved through the world with deadly precision, an organization so secretive, so ruthless that even its name struck terror into the hearts of seasoned killers. They were the stuff of nightmares, a shadowy cabal that operated in the darkest corners of the world. They were shadows wielding shadows, their motives as elusive as smoke. They moved through the world like ghosts, leaving a trail of death and destruction in their wake. John knew their handiwork. It was etched onto his soul. He had seen it in the eyes of his victims, in the haunted look that mirrored his own. The news hit him like a physical blow. It was a reminder of the life he had tried so hard to leave behind, a life that had come back to haunt him, grief, raw and consuming, threatened to drown him. It was a tidal wave of emotion, a force that threatened to pull him under and never let go. But beneath the pain, a cold fire ignited. Revenge. It was a fire that burned with a cold, unrelenting fury, a fire that would not be extinguished until justice was served. It was a bitter pill, but one he would swallow without hesitation. The ghost was back, and he was hunting. He moved with a purpose, a man on a mission, a ghost ready to reclaim his place in the world. Berlin, a city of contradictions where the past and the present coexist in a delicate balance. It is a place where history and modernity collide in a chaotic symphony of steel and stone, creating a unique urban landscape that is both beautiful and haunting. Berlin is a city that embraces its shadows, offering refuge to the lost and the forgotten, those who wander its streets in search of something they can never quite grasp. And within its sprawling underbelly, John Wicked began his descent back into the abyss, a journey that would test his resolve and awaken the darkness within him. His journey began in the heart of a shelter, a sanctuary from the biting wind and the indifference of the city. Here, among the broken and the weary, he found a temporary reprieve from the chaos outside. He moved through the dimly lit corridors, his senses on high alert, every sound and shadow a potential threat. The walls seemed to close in around him, a constant reminder of the precariousness of his situation. The air was thick with the smell of sweat and despair, a potent cocktail that did little to mask the undercurrent of fear that permeated the shelter. It was a place where hope was a rare commodity, and survival was the only goal. He could feel the weight of countless gazes on his back, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. These people, broken and discarded by society, recognized the darkness that clung to him, a darkness that mirrored their own. They saw in him a kindred spirit, someone who had been to the edge and back, someone who understood the harsh realities of life on the streets. In their eyes, he was both a threat and a potential ally. He found solace in the familiarity of routine, in the simple act of preparing meals for the shelter's residents. It was a small comfort, a way to keep the darkness at bay, if only for a little while. But the peace was a fragile illusion, easily shattered by the memories that haunted his every waking moment. The laughter of his family, the warmth of their embrace, now nothing more than fading echoes in the recesses of his mind. He was a man haunted by his past, a past filled with love and loss, joy and pain. The memories were a constant reminder of what he had lost and what he could never regain. In his quest for redemption, he sought out old contacts, ghosts from a life he had tried to leave behind. These were men and women who operated in the shadows, their loyalties bought and sold with blood and gold. They were the underbelly of Berlin, the unseen forces that shaped the city's dark underworld. They spoke in hushed tones, their words laced with a mixture of respect and fear, for they knew the name John Wick still carried weight in this world. The name John Wick was a chilling reminder of his lethal capabilities, a name that commanded both fear and respect. Among these shadows, he was a legend, a ghost that walked among them. And among them was Greta, a woman with eyes as cold and hard as the steel she wielded. She was a master forger, a woman who could procure anything for the right price. Greta was a key figure in this world, a woman whose skills were unmatched. She could create weapons of unparalleled precision, tools of death that were as beautiful as they were deadly. And right now, John needed weapons. Not just any weapons, but the tools of his former trade, each one a testament to his deadly artistry. He needed the best, and Greta was the only one who could provide them. As he examined the weapons, he felt a familiar sense of purpose, a reminder of who he was and what he was capable of. Each weapon was a piece of his past, a link to the man he used to be. With these tools in hand, he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The shadows of Berlin were closing in, but John Wick was prepared to meet them head-on, armed with the deadly precision that had made him a legend. The information came in dribs and drabs, like droplets of water slowly filling a bucket. Whispers in the dark corners of the city, carried by the wind, barely audible but laden with secrets. The puka, it seemed, had grown bolder, their influence seeping into the very fabric of society. No longer were they content with the shadows. They were stepping into the light, their presence felt in every corner of the city. They were no longer content to operate in the shadows. Their ambitions had grown, and with it, their reach. They were reaching for power, their tendrils wrapping around governments and corporations, their motives as opaque as ever. The Puka's influence was like a dark cloud, spreading across the globe, obscuring the light of truth and justice. John listened, his face an impassive mask, his eyes cold and calculating. He had seen the rise of many such organizations, but none as insidious as the Puka. Each piece of information, no matter how insignificant, was a brushstroke on the canvas of his revenge. He meticulously pieced together the puzzle, each fragment bringing him closer to the truth. He tracked down old enemies, men and women who had crossed him in the past and lived to regret it. Their fear was palpable, their memories vivid, each one adding to the tapestry of his quest. Their memories, extracted through pain and fear, painted a picture of an organization more vast and insidious than he could have imagined. The Puka was a hydra, its many heads hidden in the shadows, each one more dangerous than the last. The Puka was not just an assassin network, it was a global syndicate. Its roots sunk deep into the fertile soil of corruption and greed. Its influence spanned continents, its reach extending into the highest echelons of power. He learned of their intricate hierarchy, of the enigmatic figures who pulled the strings from the shadows. These puppet masters were elusive, their identities shrouded in mystery, their motives hidden behind layers of deception. At the heart of it all was the Harbinger, a shadowy figure shrouded in myth and rumor. The Harbinger was the Puka's most lethal weapon, a phantom who could anticipate his target's every move, a hunter who always struck from the shadows. The Harbinger was said to be the Puka's most lethal weapon, a phantom who could anticipate his target's every move, a hunter who always struck from the shadows. His presence was a whisper in the wind, a shadow that loomed over John's every step. John felt a chill crawl down his spine. The Harbinger was not just a threat, he was a spectre, a ghost that haunted John's every waking moment. He had encountered countless adversaries in his long and bloody career, but none had ever inspired this level of unease. The Harbinger was different. He was a predator, a hunter who thrived in the darkness, a mirror image of John's own skills and instincts. He was a reflection, a dark mirror image of John's own skills and instincts. Every move John made, the Harbinger anticipated. Every step he took, the Harbinger was there, a shadow that mirrored his every action. The battle between them was not just a clash of wills, it was a dance of shadows, a deadly game of cat and mouse.